Welcome to the Mischief. I'm Balin, and this is Vintage Story, Unearthed, in 119. And I think I've got a couple things in mind today, one of which is going to be a whole plethora of just tool making and whatnot, getting myself some stuff. But I think I was picking out a new place to live, and because I'm tired of my dirt hut, and I was looking at this large area. My existing hut is more or less just straight down over there. I think it's like around that edge there. But this is a relatively stable spot. It's a little bit tall, but it's not too bad. And I was thinking I could probably level off like this area here and maybe build myself a new home. It is a bit chillier here when I look at my information. It says it's 16 when I was down on the surface. I believe it was 22. But just coming down a few blocks, you can already see that the temperature has changed considerably down to 18, or up to 18 rather. So I'm kind of thinking maybe I make like this little nestled home in this area, taking out some of this dirt, and then I make ways of getting up and down a little bit easier. Because I could see this being a bit of a hassle getting up and down these areas, but then again, I don't need to worry about predators and other things getting up to me so easily either. So, benefits and drawbacks. But first, let's show you a little something that I learned. Is that water physics. If you jump down into that water down there, like in other blocky games, you might survive just fine. In fact, I might survive that fall, but I will take damage because I will end up plunging into the water and sinking a good distance into it before not taking damage. So what I like to do is try and aim for these shafts of water that are running, and maybe... Uh-oh. Oh, that kind of hurt. That was failed. A failed attempt. So learn from my mistakes. Get a little bit closer to the water before you try jumping into it. But normally you can end up jumping into those. And if you see water, you can actually use it to go backwards just by pressing up against something. It's a little bit tricky, but I'm pressing backwards right now and looking down, and I'm going up the water. Now keep in mind that you don't want to like fall out of it or anything like that. That is a possibility, but it is one way of climbing in caves and such like that if you don't have ladders or other means of getting up to different surfaces. Cool thing about having an already lit fire is that you can light torches off it. So I'm just sneak right clicking with some empty torches, and I can now relight my home because I accidentally let it burn too long and, well, it went out. But anyway, that aside, I'm just about done with smelting up the 6 ingots of copper, or 6 ingots worth, I should say. Then I should be able to just grab it right out of here, but I also want to grab this charcoal so I don't end up wasting it. Now, as before, I said I was going to make another hammer. Done. I've made another pick, which is great because I just exhausted one. And now I can pour into ingot molds, which I have some outside, as well as some inside, but it's fine. It's a very satisfying sound. You don't need to worry about too much. Just don't walk on them, because if you walk on them, it does kind of hurt a little bit. Yeah, so you'll know when you do that. Your avatar will let you know for sure. So let's see, I need grain, fruit, protein. Actually, most of my nutrition is pretty solid except for dairy, but I mean that's just normal. So let's see, I could probably mix some berries and some grain. So maybe I go with, is there anything that's going to go off first? Probably the spelt or the rye. The flax I usually save for animals because it's not quite as saturating. You'll notice it's half the saturation than any of the other grains. It's also because you end up getting a lot of other drops from flax, and it's quite valuable as it is. And with that, I think I'm going to turn in and have a little nap while everything cools off. And there we have it. It is now 10 a.m. My breakfast is still cooking, but at least these are now solid and cooled off. All of them are, including the ones outside. And I now have 4 ingots plus the other parts, which I think I'm just going to straight up make those parts right now. Hammer and a pick. I accidentally brought the hoe up with me, but I can put these, or at least put the hammer in there. I'll keep the pick on me because it's just going to be extremely valuable to have one from now on. Well, there we go. Looks like it's completed. And I can put this other leftover firewood there. Pot of cooked food. Oh, it looks lovely. This is why I love the blueberries, because they go so well with so many things. They're so cute. It should be noted that my hunger drops considerably when taking a nap. So that's something that you could use to your benefit. If you're already somewhat starving, you could just try sleeping and you're not really wasting any hunger at that point. And you'll see I put 4 ingots in there. I believe that's the limit. You might be able to put more. I don't recall. I do have some charcoal. Actually, what I'm going to do is put in probably... Let's start with 2. And if I need to, I can add another charcoal later on. And that should be enough. Let me take my torches. And in fact... I should also want to grab this. There we go, the tongs. I think that's going to be important. I don't really want to carry around the oil lamp at the moment because it's daytime. And I can start smelting some stuff. So I'm going to do the little mini game again where I'm making stuff. I want to use my old hammer. And I think I do need to light this up though. So just a little sneak right click with my torch. And you'll know it's working when you stand above it and you look down and you can see all the cinders going. Now, I've already showed you a little bit of the minigame on this, and as I'm somewhat experienced with this, actually I love smithing in Vintage Story. It's great stuff. I might kind of do a little bit of a speed up on that, and you guys can see what I end up with for tools. Alright, this looks like it's pretty hot to me, and I think it's time to start smithing. So I'm sure some of you already know what this is. It's a saw. But I figured I'd take this opportunity to show you, if you have some of these that are stuck in place and you're trying to move them to the side or something, trying to get them up on top and it won't move, it's because the opposite side is blocked as well. So you need to have an open side. In order, what I'm talking about then is this side is open, so then I can actually push this up that way. I can do that with any of these bits here and move them up if I need to, and move them then around on the surface that they're on. So that is one little tip on how you can get rid of it. But as I don't need these, I'm just gonna get rid of them. There we go, and I have a copper saw blade. And something that I neglected to show you before, if you really want to go for the immersion of it, you can actually throw these hot items in the water to cool. They will cool off and then be handleable without needing wooden tongs in hand. And it'll be completely cooled off, and you could just add a stick to it. There, I now have a copper saw. And now I have so much unlocked, it's ridiculous. The saw allows access to so many things. Ow! But I'm getting a little carried away. Let me start continuing to smelt. Looks like I've already used up the coal that's in there, and I'm going to need to make a few more things quick. A little tip that I might share. Usually you can just break these first ones or move these first ones into this slot, but if you want to move things a little further and save yourself one extra hit when you first start, you can aim behind it and it will actually knock the one in front of it forward. It's pretty neat. There we have it. I am complete. All I need now is to store that, put everything on sticks, and then I'm good. I now have a proper knife. I can put away this old flint one. In fact, I'm just going to kind of store it in there because I don't think I'll ever need it again. At least I hope not. I also made a scythe, which is going to make collecting grass or harvesting any crops very easy. And a pair of shears, which doesn't need a stick at all. That is just going to make stick gathering a breeze. So to start with the saw, this can be used to make a lot of different things. To start with, you know these aged crates that I found in some of the ruins? I can make a little something better than that. Let's see, what kind of wood do I want to use? Oh hey, I've got a whole bunch of walnut. Let's start with some of those, and I can go from there. So if I take the saw, and I take some logs, I can then make 12 planks each time. But taking those around this, I can then make crates, and these will actually store that. Now it looks very similar to these aged crates because of the color that I chose, but these can actually store a lot more than those can. So it's definitely an incentive for you to want to start making your own crates instead of relying on the aged ones. I recommend, if you can, to just sell the aged ones to vendors as you are able to create other new ones. On top of that, you can use your planks that you have or boards to make all sorts of stuff. To give an example, you can make your own little pathway, and if you want, you can continue laying these down, or because these are stackable, just holding shift and right click will place them. Control shift and right click will place a bunch of them, and it's the same thing with just picking up. Right click to pick up, control right click to pick up a bunch. Now you can make support beams, and in some game modes these actually have a practical use, that being to support the stones and stuff like that above you. If you look at them and it says that there's like an instability or something like that, like they might collapse or crumble in those game modes, that would definitely be helpful. But as I'm not in that game mode, it's not going to be helpful. It's mostly decorative. Now you can also make wooden paths, but primarily I'm interested in kind of the bow options. There's longbows and recurves. Now recurve, I could potentially just make one from some bamboo stakes, but those are very far south. I'd probably have to go like 30,000 blocks south before I'd find bamboo stakes. So I'm not going to bother with that. But I could make a raw longbow stake, which isn't too bad. And I think I said bow stake. Let's say bow stave and go from there. Alright, so dryable requires less than an hour. Okay, cool. So that is now made. Waiting a few moments, it says dryable, 0% dry. Drying this rate in a container. Okay, yes, is the same thing. So don't bother putting it in a container. I guess you can carry it on you. Either way, it's going to be the same. I have tried this with the different modifiers that the containers have, and it still will just dry at the same rate. So there's no point. You don't have to carry it with you. You can just hang it on a rack or something like that. But I can make a longbow, which is very doable because one of the variations uses pelts, some fat, that longbow stave that once it's dried, and some flax twine, which is very doable. This other one requires a bit of leather. It's just an alternate recipe type. Now, of course, the ultimate bow that I want to go for once I've got leather is going to be a recurve bow, which is even better, but that definitely requires leather as a minimum. So I'll do that in the future. For now, I'm just going to go for the other one. So knowing now that I can make things out of boards, that means that I can make things like barrels, I can start making buckets, I can make proper fences instead of the makeshift ones, I can make chests, but those do require metal hinges. You can make tables and chairs, all sorts of different things for your machinery and whatnot. It can really be expansive because once you make the saw, you can then, of course, make the boards. Shelves, scroll racks, yeah, the list just keeps going. But also, as a side note, you can now use those boards to make ladders a lot cheaper because you don't have to need as many sticks as before. Come to think of it, I've got a few things that actually are going to need kind of cooking as it is. I've had these two bowls sitting around for a while and they'll make some really nice oil lamps that I could use, plus a couple more ingot molds that I've just got sitting around. I figured, you know what, I might as well start doing that. Now let's take the Scythe. This here works, I think it covers like a 6-block area, I can't remember. Something like that, a little bit. It does this just big sweeping action, and you can get a lot of stuff at once. It's just so nice. This works on cattails as well, so if you have a large cattail area and you need cattails for poultices or other building materials, it's a time saver. And then of course I've got shears. Now to show those off a little bit, I have some trees over here that I've been growing, just from all the seeds that I've been getting to drop. Just aim at a tree leaf, right click, and it'll do kind of like this cube area and trim everything really fast and easy, and you don't need to worry about too much. It'll also keep good drop rates for getting seeds. I highly recommend you use this if you find a tree that you like some of those red maples or maybe some special bush or something like that. There we go, and with that I've got tons of just sticks laying around on the ground that I can pick up, and a bit of leftover wood from the oak tree. I also got 3 oak seeds from that, so that's phenomenal. There we go. I now have the last of it, and if you are curious, I had a little over a half stack of sticks before starting this, and now I have about almost a stack and a half. So I got very nearly a stack of sticks just from that one harvest. So it is so much of a time saver at that point, as well as durability on just about any of the other tools you might use, like several axes that you're chopping the trees with. Lighting those up, a little bit of peat on top should make things go even faster. So you can see now, just from a little bit of progression, getting sticks, getting grass, even using better materials to burn your pit kilns. Everything goes a little bit easier, smoother, less time used, and more availability for doing other projects. My inventory is fairly packed, but that's mostly because I intend on moving house. This has been nice, it has helped me out, but I don't think that it's the house that I want. And with that, I'm going to try and make an escape route. I know that there was a path that led out back here because this is where I sealed it up before, so I'm going to try and make a route over, not here, but more or less over there. So this is going to be a little challenging. I'm going to need to also have a way of getting up and down here relatively easily. Now it looks pretty good right here, where I could probably make some kind of stairs coming down. It looks like the slope on this is going to go quite drastic once it gets to a certain point, though. Like you can see, it's single block and then it starts jumping down to double block drops. So that might be a bit of an issue, but I could always have it like slant over and continue sloping downwards. Well, that's not too bad, especially if I'm using path blocks. They might look a little bit wonky, but I think that the speed increase with going up and down the stairs might be beneficial. On top of that, you can use stone path stairs and not just stone paths. And that will allow you to kind of go up a little bit easier than if you're using whole blocks. The stairs are actually, looks like to be the cheapest when I look at it. This is 4. And these are 2, but I guess that's just half the price of it. So I guess the stairs are probably the best. These wooden paths are nice as well, and you can make them out of boards. They fit flat on the ground, so you aren't actually lifted up. And they increase your walk speed by 0.12 or 12%. And the same thing with any of these as well. I believe that these increase, yeah, walk speed 1.3, so they're 30% faster on these. That's 1.2, and that one's 1.3 as well. So the flatter the surface, the faster you can go with it. Now yes, this is currently the entrance to get back up to this new area that I want to try to start building in, but I have to start somewhere, and first is just getting up there. Then I can make the path getting there a lot easier. In this case, I've got some stairs already set, and it's a little bit of a wobble back and forth, but I think I'll be able to make do. I'll do a lot more of this and other work off camera, most likely, just so that you guys don't have to sit around watching me try and basically mine a bunch of stuff. But I figure I can also get a bunch more materials at the same time. So there we go. I just took a few walnut logs and 12 sticks, and I've got a plethora of wooden ladders now. This is so much better. I feel like I'm a little bit better prepared for actually going out and doing an explore. I might take my shield with me because I'm going to need some more copper, because I want to make chests and I want to make trunks. These are some of the best storage things you could do, but they do require some hinges in order to make them, so yeah, that will require a little bit of my materials currently. Back to the copper mine, and I'm going to harvest up a bunch more materials so I can make those hinges, thus allowing me to make those chests and crates that I am very eager to set out. So you can see, just to give you an idea of where one edge of this pancake slash disc is, going all the way to the other, that's not too bad. So then imagine it's probably about the same this way, and that gives me quite a bit of copper. Now, of course, getting to the copper is going to be something else, and anytime that I need to break some of this peridotite, that is actually going to be a valuable resource for me as well, so that I can make more of those path blocks. Oh, it looks like this isn't completely flat. There might be some gentle slope to it, because I just found a bit more on the edge that goes down below. Oh, and behind this entire wall that I thought was the end of it. Oh my gosh, okay. And there we go. I now have 1/2 of the copper mine in my inventory, which ended up being quite a bit of copper, if I do say so myself. Let's see, we've got a stack and a quarter of medium, and 7 pieces of rich, which is great. That means I get even more copper from that. Keep in mind, though, that when I look at my character traits, I currently have a little bit of a problem where I'm claustrophobic. I get 15% ore drop rate less, and I'm a little bit slower to mine. So this is my weak spot right here, is getting more ores. But it does mean that I just need to adventure more, and I'm alright with that. Hello? Get out of that. You know what? If you're not getting out of there, then I'm just going to make sure that you can't get out ever. There we go. I can use my new knife, which is actually much faster because it's a metal make. The higher tier, the faster the tool actually carves critters up. So I'd like to make 6 ingots worth of stuff so that I can make this. And yep, it looks like this has finished thanks to the fact that I was using the peat instead. And I also have a few extra bowls now. And I was thinking originally I was going to make 6 ingots worth and make 2 trunks. But I think in this case I might actually save it because I used up half my pick already just mining out the rest of the copper. You know what? No, I think just I know where to get more copper, so I'm not too bothered with it. I guess I will make all 6 in ingots. And with this, I begin the process of making some nails and strips. I think I'm going to make 8, which is probably going to cost me a 2nd ingot. So I'm just going to put it right on there. At least I'm pretty sure that it does. And I'm going to start using the heavy hit just to get some of the ones off the top a little bit here. It helps with just a couple smacks to get a lot of voxels moved out the way. Now with that, I think I'm ready to start just getting this stuff moved into place. You may think that there's a lot of voxels left, and probably 1 ingot would have done it, but honestly, I am pretty sure that that would just be shy by a few voxels. So either way, I'm getting 8 of those nails and strips out of this. And there we have it. I now have those 8, and I just need to craft those with a bunch of planks. Where am I going to get planks? I only have a few here, but I might as well grab the ones that I do have. I think these are all walnut. I brought some walnut up with me. I just need a saw. There we go. Now with this, I should be able to just start cutting these up into lots of planks. I might as well just cut them all up, make a good 40 here. Now, by themselves, they will make bookshelves, which is fantastic, but that's not exactly what I'm looking for. I want chests. In fact, I'm going to want more than what I've got here. I've got 3 more of these nails and strips, and as long as I keep this wooden tongs in my offhand, I should be safe from burning myself. I feel that I am going to take 2 more of these and make another set so that I can have a lot of chests to start with. And there we go, 8 more nails and strips, making for a total of 11. So I'm going to take all this wood that I have and make a plentitude of chests. Now I still have a few left over, and that's fine with me. I do like to have a few single chests as well that I will probably use that way. Just so I don't forget that they're still hot, I'm going to keep them on my hot bar because I can't really put down my wooden tongs until I've cooled those. Otherwise, I'm just going to end up burning myself. I don't think... Oh, I can place them. I can place them just on the ground. So maybe... There we go. I'll just do that for now. And put the tongs down. I didn't even think about that. Okay, well, they're probably going to... Yeah, they're hot. Okay. Yep. That was my mistake. I shouldn't have picked that up. Either way, it is now placed there. Actually, can I place? I can place them all in the same space. Okay, that's fine. That's so much better. Oh my gosh. It's a learning process for me too at times. I haven't exactly done everything there is to do in Vintage Story. I've done a lot of it, but I haven't done everything. Anyway, what I'm going to do next is go take these chests, and actually, if I put a couple of them together, you can make a trunk. Now I'm going to show you a little thing here about the difference between a chest and a trunk. So let's put a chest here and a trunk here. So you see here we've got a 4x4 grid from this one chest. We open up this, we've got a 4x4 grid times 2, but because they're joined together, you get an extra 4 spaces. So the trunks are even better for space because they take up 2 blocks. instead of this, and you get 4 extra slots out of it. They're fantastic. But sometimes you just want a little something. You don't have space for something as big as this. But for your general storage, these can't be beat. Now, as I have plenty of these in my inventory, I am actually going to make 5 more trunks, which I don't think I'm going to need that many for what I have in mind. I'm going to take this down to my old house, and from there, I think I'm going to introduce you guys to another small mod that I think a lot of you will find useful. I'm only going to use parts of this mod, but I'm not going to use it in this episode. What I'm going to do is save it for next time. So if you think you know what this mod is that I'm going to be adding in, it is a very small one and only going to be, well, more or less usable in an aesthetic manner for most cases, but I'm not going to use it to be too cheaty, more just immersive. So if you think you know what it is, please feel free to leave a comment down below. Don't be afraid to check out our second Mischief of Mice 2 channel on YouTube. Alternately, you could come visit us on Twitch, where we stream regularly, including Vintage Story, on our supporter server. Till next time, folks, I'll see ya.